Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you're watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins, bringing you a little bit of a positive spin on homelessness. I don't think so. Let's find out what's going on down under in Australia. Minister of Housing Luke Horwath wants a positive spin on homelessness. Like it's not happening, or it's just temporary, or... Yeah. Alright, the new assignment minister responsible for reducing homelessness in Australia believes it is important to put a positive spin on the social economic issue. Yeah, like pretending it doesn't exist, or let's make it seem like it's not happening, or let's shuffle people around to other cities. They're doing it here. I don't know if that works in bigger cities or in cities you live in where they just shuffle around homeless people. Yeah, it's kind of scary. But anyways, on the social economic issue. Well, what'd you think? People weren't going to find out once people start losing their jobs or not making enough money? And what's scary about this is people working 1 or 2 full-time jobs and they're still homeless. So how do you put a positive spin on that? Luke Horwath has been appointed Assistant Minister of Community Housing, Homelessness and Community in the Morrison government and will hold the first meeting with Lord Mayors today to discuss the problem. Last year, the Australian Bureau of Statistics, that's ABS, Australia's Bureau of Statistics found homeless in Australia increased by 14%. That's people's wages didn't even go up 14%. It's nothing. Everything went up, but wages 14%. Wow. It's like homelessness is intact with the price of gas, food, housing, everything. Over a 5-year period, with 116,427 thought to have no permanent home. 116,000? That's the ones they know of that don't have a permanent home. That's a lot of people. Okay, let's continue here. I thought Ireland had it pretty bad with 13,000 sleeping rough. Whew. I want to put a positive spin on it as well and not just say Australia is in the housing crisis when it affects a very, very small percentage of the population. Fangulo! What are you talking about? What do you think, we just woke up yesterday? What do you think we're going to find out? What are you, out of your tree? This housing disaster of countries, English-speaking countries, competing for rich Chinese that want to park their money outside of China since that clown there in China, what's his name, started stating that he is now an emperor. He doesn't have to run he's emperor now. You know how many Chinese wanted to run their wealth out of that country? They had to put in the social credit score in China now and watch what's being moved out of the country. Every dime that leaves that country is accounted for now. So Australia, Canada, the UK, all English-speaking countries, so it's not just Australia, we're in this to compete for wealthy investors. So you telling me all the laundered money that went through Australia, all the Mickey Mousing that went through Australia, all the bad books that the Royal Commission found, they just scratched the surface of what these banks were doing and all the garbage they were putting in. I don't even know how some of these underwriters could sleep at night. Very small percentage of a population. People held back on starting families. People held back on starting lives. People held back on laying roots. People held back on everything. People commute 2 hours to get into work because they can't afford. Police officers, people in the public sector can't even afford to maintain the cities they live in. I'm stating the facts, and I think it's important that parts of homelessness have reduced over the 15-year period. It's because the Australian proper haven't been having kids lately. So, obviously, homelessness might start reducing when you're bringing in more wealthy investors to buy up your country. You're going to have less people being homeless. So, if that statistic is true, that's why. That's what I think, right? Over the past 5 years, the rate of homelessness has increased from 47.6% per 10,000 Australians in 2011 to 49.8 people in 2016, according to ABS. But how many Australians left to move to the United States or other countries? Focusing on the good news, Mr. Howarth conceded the overall number of homeless people had grown, but said the increase was lower than the population growth thanks to government community initiatives. People don't want government community initiatives. They want real jobs. A lot of these people want real jobs. They want something they could grow into. Now these contract Mickey Mouse jobs everywhere you go through temp agencies and Mickey Mousing people's lives. People can't gain a pension. People have a hard time making ends meet. There's a number of areas and we are focusing on all of them. But people on the street is important because that is what Australians see if their capital city like Sydney and Brisbane and Melbourne, Mr. Howarth says. Well, you could add San Francisco to that. Man, you could add every major city on the west coast of the United States like that. Yeah. When we see people on the streets, they want something done about that. Create jobs! Especially how embarrassing the people living on the streets that actually work full-time, that have to go to the gym, shower, go into work a little bit early so that, and can't speak up at work because they can't afford to lose their job because then they can't eat anymore. The good news is over 15% period, it has reduced. Australian proper isn't producing children as it used to, so you can get over that real quick in a heartbeat. It has spiked in the last few years. I want to do everything I can to see the numbers come back down because of selling your country out to rich investors. Social housing and homelessness will need to be addressed by the federal government to honor a deal struck with Tasmania sector Jackie Lambie. Senator Lambie supported the coalition's personal income tax cuts in the Senate earlier this month, provided it waived Tasmania's social housing debt. No specific deal was outlined by Senator Lambie, said she had good faith in agreement with senior ministers. So let's look at the key points here. New Assistant Minister of Homeless Luke Howarth argued in the interview that there was no housing crisis. Woo! Woo! He claimed that homelessness is not growing as quickly as the population growth. Woo! Population growth is all majority wealthy investors. I know they're competing for wealthy investors, right? Senator Joachim Labine claims that he has good faith and agreement in the government that will address the homelessness. Good faith in the government. Good trust the oh God, please help me. Yeah. I don't know if this is like a joke. Is this satire? Who are these guys? ABC. Always broadcasting crap. That's what they are, always broadcasting crap. This has got to be a joke. This was posted 4 hours ago. This was sent to me by a friend of mine. Here we go. Related story. A perfect storm. While older women are the hidden victims of homelessness. Don't be silly. That's not happening. This guy's telling you what's going on here, I say. Related story. Mike wasn't sick, but thought he'd be dead by 15. Okay, that's not related. To put positive spin on... Okay, so we went over that. So let's see what's going here. Women are being hidden victims of homelessness, but it isn't just a case of sleeping rough. For the first time in a long while, Angela Rose feels excited about her future, and she attributes a big part of feeling to having a home. Adelaide resident who was homeless for more than a year is among the fewest growing group of people experiencing homelessness, older women. Well, let's go back like a sentence here. Who was homeless for more than a year? What kind of you know what? I'm not gonna freak out on the next. So do you agree with this guy here? That their homeless situation is argued in an interview there was no housing crisis. Is there no housing crisis, or am I severely delusional? Look forward to reading your comments, and if you want to support this transmission, go ahead and buy me a coffee on Patreon. Thanks for watching, and share this video.